What is going on, YouTube? Pass the Prop, NFL edition. Maybe talk a little basketball, but we're ready here today. We got Wednesday's show, a little early today, just kind of been, we're here. That's all that matters, and we're ready to go. Joined as always by my guy, Stu. How you doing, man? How's your Wednesday going?
I'm doing good, man. It's fucking cold. That's really the only thing I got to say. I mean, I see you got the hat going. Now I'm having to join you as well. It's brutal out here. I'm not ready for it to actually be December yet. It doesn't quite feel like it. Just like it doesn't quite feel like we're going into week 14 already. I mean, damn. That when you say a number that high, obviously it makes you realize how close we are to the playoffs, to the end of the season. Obviously, fantasy playoffs getting going as well. So a lot of good stuff. A great primetime game. Super excited to get into it.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm a little bit more invested in this one. Obviously, my Packers are in action, so we'll make sure we get to that and talk about our Thursday night bets. Obviously, we want to make sure we get through everything. Got to go through that's king of the court pick. We'll see. I gotta check. I've looked more college basketball than I have NBA so far. So, but yeah, let's get this going. We got 10 of you guys in here in the first couple of minutes. I'm surprised, man. I'm surprised because I know it's a different time. But hey, we appreciate you guys for popping in anytime you can. So let's take a look because what an epic game, dude. You got anything to talk about in that game before we get to our recap?
I mean, just off the top of my head, I mean, it was probably one of the most fun games of the year, which is fantastic to say. Browns have now had back-to-back games that rate out as some of the best of the season. I mean, obviously good to cash your player prop anytime you win your bet. Always going to be a pretty good night, but wow, Jameis Winston just a couple yards away from 500, arguably the GOAT of the show. I mean, at this point, the way we've won so much money on him, obviously you had your bet on him. How often do you have the opposing quarterback have a 95-yard pass? You got a head-to-head passing. It's not even a sweat. Like, it didn't change a single thing. The guy had a 95-yard touchdown pass, and we didn't break a sweat for that bet. So just a fantastic game, very entertaining, and yeah, shout out to the Broncos. They got the win.
Yeah, dude. 500 yards, man. I should get some extra shit. I only cashed a minus 120 with that shit. That's what sucks. I should get more for winning by almost 200 yards, dude. I think he did win by 200. And the other guy still threw for 290, right? 290 passing yards. And dude, I think Jameis would have broken our fantasy football record for points if we didn't just implement a rule of pick sixes or -6 now. So that's like I have Jameis on my team as a backup. He still scored 40 with all that, with minus 14 points. If it was just normal for a normal – dude pushing 50, bro. Like, he's over 50 because he scored 40 points with minus 14 because the dude is an absolute wagon, dude. The guy just chucks it. I'm still kind of baffled that people don't think that Jameis is a good quarterback or like that he's, like a franchise quarterback. Yeah, he does make the mistakes, but my God, dude, this is just like if you're a guy, you want to play there, bro. Like you want to play with Jameis because this dude chucks it, man. And obviously, an Njoku big night. Then you go down. Then you get to look at obviously Jerry Jeudy pushing 250. 250, dude. Like back-to-back plays in that game of 70+ yards. Just a fun one to watch. So shout out. That was a big game.
It was true, like madness. Like one crazy thing happens, then immediately the Browns get the ball back. Jerry Jeudy gets a 70-yard catch. Like just back and forth, like action the whole time. And obviously at the end of the game too, Jerry Jeudy still, or not Jerry Jeudy, sorry, Jameis Winston. He's working on praying the pick sixes away. So the LASIK didn't really work. We gotta go to some ulterior strategies here. So I respect it. I don't know who they're playing next week, but it's much watch. Oh, it's Pittsburgh? Oh, okay, that's must watch. I mean, every single Browns game from here on out. I mean, no way we're not going back to Jameis passing, right? No way.
Well, I just want to know when they're going to start pushing this thing to 250, right? I mean, Denver's a good pass defense, bro. Like they're not like they still haven't put them over 250 yet, bro. And the boy just threw for 500 and almost threw for 400 2 weeks ago. So it's just like, oh my God. When are we going to see this dude higher than Burrow? When we're going to see it? Like this dude's got almost 1,700 passing yards in play for the first, 7 games, 6 games? Crazy. So I love that game. Shout out Russ again. I'm going to give my shout out to Russ because, damn, dude, that guy is just cooking, bro. Russ is cooking. Love to see, dude, he's a dweeb. Don't get it wrong, bro. He's a dweeb, but all those people thinking just because you're a dweeb you can't be good. Like, dude's showing out, man. Because everybody just didn't like him because he's just like corny, bro. He's just corny.
Yeah.
You know, one of those guys. I'm like, hey, don't mean you can't do the job, right? That doesn't mean you can't do the job. So, obviously, looking forward to that one. Should be fun.
Yeah, no hate from Russ here. We were even sticking by him in the Denver days. I mean, I know we both kind of bet on him a couple times there. Clearly not the right situation for him, but the guy, people treated him like he was the worst quarterback in the league, which was just so crazy because he did a couple Subway commercials people didn't like. So we're Team Russ over here, obviously. Wishing him continued success, Mr. Unlimited. And like Tyrone said in the chat, definitely slamming the over in that game. Two gunslingers like Russell and Jameis. Obviously, that's going to be a good one.
I'm going to rescind. I usually do my rant, but I'm actually going to take one back. I'm going to rescind my hate of Arthur Smith because, like, I can't do a fully rescind because, like, you see what Bijan's doing this year when they actually workload him and give him 25 carries. Dude's a dog, bro. Like, absolute dog. Touch the ball 25 times, guaranteed 100 rushing plus receiving every time. Right? Finally doing that. So I can't fully rescind it because still dumbass was putting Tyler Algier in there like 50-50. So it's like a 90% pullback. Still have a little hate for him. But throwing that ball around a little bit, right? Finally opening up that playbook. So, like I said, I'll give him 75% because I do see how good Bijan is, bro. And so I can't give him all the way, but I have to take some of it back, a little bit.
I was starting to forgive him. I will say I privately bet Jalen Warren rushing and receiving, and he just didn't touch the ball in the first half. Like, Najee went 4 for 45, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And Warren somehow got it. He had a big reception, and it ended up okay. Came in the second half. But, like, it's still like Arthur Smith is just one of those guys you can't predict. Like, I mean, I don't know. Warren touched he must have like kicked somebody in practice or something. Like, just 4 for 45 in the first half was crazy. And then Cordero Patterson was the second guy in. So maybe he was late. I don't know what it was, or you can never figure that guy out. He's a little bit of a crazy person, but it's working, like he said.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we got 21 of you guys in here in the first couple minutes. Shout out you guys for popping in on short notice. Short notice replacement, right? We're like the UFC a little bit here, right? But only on pay-per-views. We just show up like we're on pay-per-views every time, bro. We ain't just like canceling and shit. We don't do that. They like to do that sometimes, but we're out here. So shout out Sutton here for you. Getting you a nice little easy winner there. 100-yarder, huh?
Yeah, it's great. Sutton is just like the most comfortable. Like, whenever Bo Nix is dropping back, like, you can just kind of feel good. Like, when the ball goes out of his hands, there's like a 50% chance it's going to Sutton. You know what I mean? Like, you're that comfortable every single time. Franklin's out there, Mims. Like, they got some other guys, but Sutton was just looking good, kind of doing his thing. If this number is below 70, it's one of those that I feel like you should keep going back to until it burns you. So shout out to Cortland Sutton, got the job done at really whatever number you cashed it at as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was nice, man. I think it ended up getting up to like 67 on a lot of books, so still obviously pretty easy to cash there. This might have been my easiest cash ever, and I bet Jameis like 4 times. But my God, 500, bro, 500 yards, dude. That was absolutely insane. Just chucking it around. Shout out Judy, bro. I was not expecting that. Like we were talking about him on here. We're like 50-50, so you're getting 50% of them. But they moved him around. Like, they did a lot better job moving him around. That was what I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And that just kind of blew it up because he couldn't shadow him into the slot. And they were finding so many different ways to get on the ball.
That was insane, by the way. Why was there no adjustment here? You're letting Wallace line up against this guy? He went like 7 for 185 alone against Wallace. Like, you have Surtain on your team. Why is he locking down some random guy named Woods that I've never heard of before? What's going on? You can't have one of the best corners in the league sitting on an island against a practice squad guy. That makes no sense when Jerry Jeudy has 178 yards. Like, Surtain shadows people. Tell him to follow this guy around. That was weird. That was the one part of that game I really didn't understand. Like, how do you keep letting him get this same mismatch? Even on incompletions, he was cooking that guy. He was so lost out there. So yeah, I don't, that was my rant. Like, what are we doing there? Obviously, I had no bets on Judy, no overs, no unders. I kind of walked through the whole thing on the show. Like, I saw good reasons for both, but that was insane. Not adjusting quick enough. I saw like he went 2 for 25 against Surtain. Why not have him follow him around the whole game? What was the point of that? Very, very confusing to me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was just weird. And shout out Njoku. I should have bet the touchdowns. Should have bet the 2 touchdowns. Went to the highest receiving there, and obviously you're not winning that when 2 guys catch 70+ yard touchdowns. So that was the unfortunate part. Unfortunately there, but it was a good game. It was a good game, and happy we were able to get on our straight bets and get some winners there. And we're slowly working it back. I know we had a couple down weeks, 2 weeks in a row. I get to blame the Cowboys for about -6 of my units this year. So fuck them. They ain't finding their way to my card anymore because I really want to know, bro. Outside of Dak and outside of that, like you get to put Saquon in there because that was a 2-unit. Take out the Dallas Cowboys this year. We're 20+. Like, It ain't even close. It might be 25 because I've had a 1.5 unit on Dak twice. We had the 2-unit on Barkley, fucked over by Dak and the Cowboys again. Right there, 6, bro. That's not even counting anything else that I bet on them this year. So, there's my rant. I had a 75% rant, like a take back, so I had to push it. I didn't want to go over the top, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it had to happen. So, we got let's check the chat here. I don't know. We might cancel Monday.
Yeah, that's not good.
Or just an auto fade, bro. It's just an auto fade or cancel because that's disgusting. Why are we putting them on primetime? Of what? They got 3 wins?
I actually saw that's
they're playing the Bengals. Oh my god!
It's a special collaboration they have with
Nickelodeon, right?
And I think it's The Simpsons this time. That's what I read. And what happened is they tried to flex the game out of primetime, but they've already made like voiceovers and done animations where they actually can't. The NFL had to put out a thing that was like, we can't flex this game out. You guys are stuck with it. So we are stuck with that game.
I mean, honestly, though, like that game, now that I saw who they're playing, bro, I kind of like it. Both teams sucking. Both teams' defenses are ass. 50 total.
It's going to be Bengals 40-0. That's the final score.
I'm saying Cooper Rush 300 beat, bro. Cooper Rush 300. Like
honestly, in garbage time,
Cooper Rush is the king of the garbage yards. I you know what sucks for me, right? So, quick thing, I got to get my shit out of here. Obviously, I got to be out a little bit earlier. A lot of shit's going on today, but got to get this out because we're talking about here. I finally won that game. I told you guys about my Josh Allen win last week, which was crazy. We're sitting in 3rd place right now. I'm 2nd place. I need him to lose, and then I can push up to 2. Probably the best team in the league. Number 1, he's that guy that there's a guy in every league that gets lucky as hell, right? Like he's 5 points ahead of me, and the only reason he's 5 points ahead of me because I had an 80-point week because I had 4 of my best players on bye, mind you. So I'm like, he's got to lose. He plays his brother, his twin brother. His twin brother's in like the last playoff spot. So he has to win. He's in 1st. If he loses, he drops all the way down to like 4. So like if he wins, he gets that bye. And then I'm hoping he loses. I push up into the 1 or 2. I get that bye week, 1st week. But imagine that, bro. Like having your twin brother face you off, 1st place, 6th place. That guy, if the other one loses, he's out completely. Top guy would drop all the way down probably to 3 or 4 and have to play in the 1st week if he loses. Mind you, he is repping Jaden Daniels in that league. He's got 2 other bye guys this week. Really shitty. Like, that sucks. Shout out me, who I had to take an 80-point week when I had no Josh Allen, no Kamara, no Bijan. It was just that was my 80-point week. So it's going to be interesting having your twin brother try to take you out, man. It's tough, bro.
It's why we like this, though, because, holiday season, most people are going to be catching up. You know what those guys are going to be talking about. Like, it's all going to be about that fucking fantasy matchup, and especially if one guy gets knocked out of the playoffs, definitely going to be brutal. But, hey, that's why we love fantasy football. It ups the stakes, makes a lot of these dumb, unimportant games, really meaningful to you for the rest of the year. So, definitely curious how that one plays out.
Yeah, I play the worst guy this week, so I gotta just get the job done. Just
Yeah.
put your head down, get the job done, and get through there. It's just he's had McCaffrey too, so that's like why he's in last. So I have to check and see if he picked up Durendo. Hopefully he didn't get him. I think he just checked out, so I'm gonna have to go check his team because I didn't see it. All right, Sue, let's get to today. We're gonna talk a little Thursday Night Football. We got a 51.5 point total here. My boys, my Packers at the Lions. We got a 3-point spread. I know that kind of shocked you a little bit there, Stu. I know when we talked, you were thinking that'd be a little bit higher, but let's talk about it here. I'll let you do it first because obviously I try not to be super biased with my Packers, but I don't think it's really going to work that well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got the hat going. I should have rocked a Lions hat. Maybe tried to offset it or something here, but it's a tough one.
Got the flag though.
Yeah,
you gotta double up, bro. You gotta go buy a flag and shit too. You're gonna double down like that.
No, we're not doing all that. I don't like the Lions that much. Although I do have some Detroit alliances. Obviously, that's where I'll be Christmas. A lot of my family's Detroit, so I am always rooting for those guys to be happy. And I think they might be happy after this game because, like you said, 3. It's an interesting number. If you ask me to set a line just off the top of my head, it's probably like 4.5. Which is pretty impactful when you're going through key numbers around here. We saw some 3.5 early, but it's really only been going in the direction of the Packers, getting bet from 3.5 to 3. I think a big reason why is the Lions injury report, right? The Lions defense is really banged up right now, and they are getting one of their starting cornerbacks back. But really, when you look at the defensive line, when you look at the linebacker core, that's really where it matters a lot. A guy like Anzalone is obviously already out. The defensive line, for me, the biggest thing to look at is DJ Reader. They're already messed up. The edge, Pascal got hurt. Everyone's been getting hurt. They're obviously down Hutchinson. DJ Reader is someone we've talked about a lot in the show. Very impactful rushing defender, interior defensive lineman, but has really stepped up an even bigger role with Hutchinson out. Now kind of getting to the quarterback a little bit, recording a couple more sacks. Reader is so impactful to this game, and he's missed both practices so far this week. There hasn't been an update that I've seen yet, but if he doesn't play today, I mean, I'm assuming he's not suiting up for that game, and that really matters a lot for what the Packers can do, because the Lions, they dominate guys. They got this 1-2 punch of Montgomery, you got Gibbs, and you can kind of slowly beat teams down, and then that opens up the Jameson Williams 60-yard catch. It kind of opens everything else. If the Packers can match that kind of pace of just Jacobs, who we've seen carry the ball at least 18 times in 3 straight games, if they can go down the field against the Lions defensive line that we're used to looking at as a top 5 unit that now probably isn't with all these injuries, we know the Packers can sustain drives. They can go slow as well. I mean, LaFleur is a fantastic coach. Arguably, this is the best coaching matchup in football you can get right now. So for me, it's hard to price it outside of a field goal. I think it's it's very hard for me to bet the spread personally. If I had to pick like a team on the money line, it would be the Lions. I think the Lions probably steal away a victory just because what team has proven more that they can win in close games than the Lions? Maybe the Chiefs. Obviously, it seems like the Chiefs do to themselves a lot, but the Lions win these close games, and I don't know if the Packers can say that themselves, but I'm super pumped for this one. Truly one of the more exciting games of the year. I'm curious what you think about the total. Obviously, 51.5, very much up there right now. I don't love primetime overs at all, so kind of lean the under for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I agree with some of what you said. Obviously, winning the Bears game was close. Winning the Texans game when they played like dog shit and turned the ball over on their own side of the field twice. Obviously a pretty big win and trying to win a game like that, those gritty type games. I think it's tough for me because I don't take that much from that first game just because they were able to kind of just do what they wanted to do. And it was so bad out there that we just saw it with the Bills game, right? Just when the weather's that shitty, the advantage goes to the offense because you actually know where you're going, right? They only threw the ball 20 times in that first game, right? And to be honest, I don't know how much I trust Jordan Love in those big spots right now, just because we've seen him put the ball in danger a ton. But the reason why I kind of like the Packers in this spot is just because I'm looking at it and they're allowing a lot of underneath passing, right? And I think that's actually good. I want Jordan Love to throw checkdowns. He just doesn't do it very much because he wants to make something big happen, right? but the Lions have been pretty good at stopping those big plays from happening. So I think that's actually going to help him. Like they're going to force him to do it. And if he's able to do it and not turn the ball over, right? I think the Packers got this, bro, for real. I've been so impressed by Josh Jacobs, bro. I wish he wasn't just wasted away last year out in fucking Vegas because, my God, this dude is so fun to watch, bro. Like, I love watching this dude run. The dude trucks dudes. He's been catching out of the backfield, pretty much do everything type of guy. Like, he's just getting to the point where he's just getting the ball 25 times a game. And we have not had that, right? We've not had that in years, bro. Like, probably a Mon Green type shit, bro. That's how far back we're going back till we got a guy that's actually been a bell cow like that. So it's just really tough because I really like this Lions offense. It's just I think the Packers coming out, bro. They beat them on Thanksgiving. I know that they're last year. I know that the Lions are going to want to get that one back. But again, do I trust Goff yet? That's the thing. Do I trust Goff too? Like that's the thing is I know he's a lot better at home. I just think that if I'm getting 3 points in this one. I'll probably just take the 3. I wish I would have got the 3.5 earlier in the week. But I think I'm rolling with the 3. The total, I know you mentioned that. I mean, how do you bet the under in there? If you're not betting the under or you're not betting the over, I wouldn't bet the total at all. Like, you know how scary that would be? Like, this could be 27 points.
Yeah.
Midway through the third quarter, you're chilling. And Love just goes into Love mode and just starts chucking down the field, bro. Like, they get down. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's going to chuck it. Like, that's why I'm worried. I still think that where there's a lot of turnover upside both sides here. I can't bet an under in this game. Like we even saw it in that first game, like in the one this year already. Like, they scored 38 points in some of the worst weather I've seen in Lambeau. Like, you couldn't even stick your feet in there. It was windy. And we still got to 38 points. Like, I don't know, man. And now you get a dome. Like, I think it's going to be just an absolute shootout. And you get that key number, right? 52 being probably a key number, that 28-24 type ball game. I don't know. I see both teams scoring 25. So,
yeah. No, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, I just look at 51s, and for me, it's like so hard to get to an over in that place. But the Lions still are really the most dynamic offense in football, and I think the Packers are one of the few teams that can kind of match that kind of level. So whenever you get something like that, it's pretty easy to see why, there's shootout potential. For me, I just am worried about those like longer drives that both of these two teams with these running games that they have, because I agree. I think Josh Jacobs has been one of the more underrated backs in the league. He was someone I was trying to draft in every single fantasy or best ball team possible. And I mean, we've really seen it with the volume kind of take over recently. So love the matchup. I mean, obviously the Lions have been a tough matchup all year long, but this D line is looking a lot different than when it was earlier in the season. So that's going to give the Packers a lot of good opportunities here.
And then my last thing is like, I'm not just trying to hype the Packers, but it's just tough for you to guard these receivers. There's just so many just randoms that are just like good. They're just not great. Like, they just don't, like, obviously you put Jaden Reed in that 1A, right? Because he's probably the guy, but you're just bringing like Wicks has had big games. Obviously, depending on Dobbs, I don't know what the news is with him. With it coming on a short week, I haven't looked or anything. So, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Sue. You're going to take it away. I got to take a quick call here, so I'm going to let you take this one.
Sounds good. I will start it out. We got Josh Jacobs over 15.5 receiving yards. I just put this one out a little bit ago. It's moving up a little bit to like 16 and 17 in a lot of spots. So I would play it very comfortably up to 17.5. That's fine with me. It's pretty much there across the board at this point, which is kind of what I expected. And I still think it's a little bit short, to be completely honest, because for me, there's a very clear pattern in a lot of the Packers offensive players' usage. Not only Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, a lot of these different guys. And they're 9-3. They've been winning. They've been very good this season. In these winning game scripts, they're not as involved. But when you look at a guy like Josh Jacobs, in their 3 losses, he's averaging 4 targets for 20 yards a game. The only time he didn't go over this number was actually earlier in the year against the Lions, where he only had 13 receiving yards in that game. Fell just short, but the volume was good. 3 targets in that one. Not overly worried. What I like is if they are down in this game, right? It's 3-point underdog, so it should be a relatively close game. When we look at a lot of the Packers' recent performances, a lot of their recent games, they've been up multiple scores. They really haven't been forced to drop back as much, and they've been a lot more comfortable in their running game. Obviously, I talked about DJ Reader earlier on. If he does play, then I think this play gets even better, just because DJ Reader impacts the traditional run game so much. But even if he's not in there, I still think they're going to incorporate a couple more screens, a couple more short passes to the outside, because you want to test a backup linebacker core. You want to make them gamble a little bit more. Even a guy like Jack Campbell stepping up into a bigger role. If you're a defensive better, someone I think is very interesting for the tackles plus assist market this week. Obviously pretty good in the run protection game. Is he going to be a good pass protector, though? Is he going to be able to cover Josh Jacobs one-on-one in space? I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think the Lions want to know the answer to that either. I think there's a lot of creative ways that LaFleur can get Jacobs involved outside of this, just the traditional dump downs that I think we can expect from a team that's likely going to have to drop back a little bit more than expected. Because when you look at it, like I said, I like Jacobs on the ground. One of my earliest bets this week, I did get a little bit of over 64.5 rush yards, just because I knew that number was going to steam up pretty much as soon as possible, given the bad injury report for the Lions. I think he's just going to be out there so much. And I think maybe once we get to that 18 to 20 carry mark, I think that's where it probably levels off. I think that's probably the upside. While recently he's been getting 22, 22, 23, 24. I think that's a little bit later in the game where we see some of those dump offs really come alive, especially if we get certain game scripts here towards the end of the game where the Packers are trailing and they are forced to catch up and play from behind. That's really the ideal situation here. That's where we see Jacobs most involved in the short passing game. I see Mitch in the chat said I took him at 83.5 rushing and receiving, worth taking receiving yards as well. Yeah, I mean, I'll be taking them both probably. Like I said, I already have some exposure to the rushing. I think for me, just if I want to lay down a lot of money, just kind of depends on the injury report. So I'm still waiting to see any updates for that. But I still like them both separately because there are a lot of situations where he can cash the receiving and not have a good rushing game. It's not that those things are correlated necessarily, but if you do see him get out to a slow start, if he does go, 7 for 15 on the ground to start out the game, that's when LaFleur starts thinking, how do we get the short passing game going? How do we supplement this a little bit? So they're not necessarily inversely correlated, but there are a lot of different game scripts where both of those different bets could cash. So I do like taking them separately. I will be doing that personally as well. Like I said, I just want to, before I know how much money to lay down, I really do want to see if a guy like Reader's playing, because that is so important. And there are some conflicting news sources with some people kind of saying, oh, this is a guy he's just a veteran. He's getting a veteran rest day. But then when you look at the Twitter doctors, they're showing you fall on his shoulder. Not something that, I want to gamble on too much. I'm not a Twitter doctor myself. So as we know. So overall, love Josh Jacobs here. I think they have to pass a little bit more than normal. I don't think this is going to be their comfortable. We get to run the ball 24 times a game. And when Love is forced into this short passing game, a guy like Jaden Reed obviously going to be more involved. I think a Tucker Kraft. But I think Jacobs is just going to be sneaky underrated in that screen game. And then when it becomes time, later in the game, those dump offs are going to be key. So love Josh Jacobs. The final thing I want to mention, the Lions on paper are like middle of the pack versus receiving backs. What really made the difference between receiving yards and receptions, which I still do think receptions are playable, it's the explosive plays. When you go back through and look recently, 29-yard catch to Swift, 36-yard catch to Mixon, 17 to Pollard, 17 to Aaron Jones, 16 to Rico Dowdle, 16 to Zach Charbonnet. Like all these different backs in their recent games, they've not only just been breaking off these short little catches, it's been like explosive plays. And for me, we know Jacobs is a guy that can break a tackle, right? Fantastic in almost every single missed tackle metric possible out there. If you get him in space and he can break an explosive play one-on-one, then I'm totally interested. So give me Josh Jacobs, 15.5 receiving yards. It's up now to like 17.5. I'd play it to like 19.5. I think probably anything under 20 is good here. But also if it does get crazy, then you can pivot to receptions or longest reception as well, because those explosive plays are kind of what I'm counting on here.
Yeah, 2.5, right? Catching up on 2.5, minus 120, right? A little juice to the over there on those. I don't think it takes more than two, right? I would definitely feel more comfortable playing the 16 yards than, having to have him catch three passes in a spot where I don't
Yeah.
think it's really going to be necessary, honestly. So I think we're pretty aligned in how we're doing this, just because my play kind of aligns with yours a little bit. And I'll go right into mine. It's Jordan Love over 21.5 completions. This is on DraftKings at minus 105. Obviously, loved your breakdown there. I do think they're going to have to throw a lot more in this game. But my thing is the Lions, I think, kind of figured it out a little bit. Like, just try to limit those 50-yard bombs that Jordan Love likes to do. Because Christian Watson, yes, he can catch. Dude's pretty damn good at drawing pass interference, though. Like, just by jumping up and he's a twig, bro. Anybody touches him, he falls over, bro. So that's a guaranteed pass interference, right? And those are the plays you just can't let the Packers get. Because once you get those, then you got to put a safety back, and now you're just, all right, Josh Jacobs, right? And you just see Josh Jacobs, so you bring it down, we go over the top, right? But they've been doing a pretty good job. Obviously, when they have a better defensive line, it kind of helps this bet a little bit more as well. But I think you want to get outside of the tackle box, right? You want to get Josh Jacobs that ball in space. You want to get Jaden Reed that ball in space. And even when you look at that really awful weather game first time this year, he already hit that in that one. Now I'm getting him in a dome, right? He hit it both times last year against this Lions team. And last year, mind you, he went 68.8% completion and 64% completion percentage, because that yards per attempt was 6, and the 8.4 was because they had a 55-yard touchdown pass, right? So I'm telling you right now, it's got to be. I mean, if you're the Lions, you want to just make sure they take long drives, because you got to think that at some point Jordan Love's going to make a mistake, put that ball in harm's way, and he's shown that he is willing to do that. And yes, they make some big plays, but I think they're going to let him take the underneath stuff. Can you make those tackles? Right? Can you make those tackles underneath? I don't think they can. Those linebackers are just beat to hell. Anzalone being out is a lot bigger than I think people realize. I know that there's one other backer I saw that might be out as well, or maybe it was a safety, one of the two. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I did see the doubtful, questionable tag on him. So a lot of injuries, especially if they're going to give Love a little bit of time early in this game. I think you see a little bit more blitzing from this side as well. Get that ball out of your hand quick, right? And obviously that kind of applies to the Josh Jacobs, Tucker Crafts of the world, stuff like that. I think that those underneath ones are going to be a lot more important in a game like this, where ball control and turnovers, bro. And we've seen the Lions have big turnover games, right? We saw Goff with 5 picks in a fucking game. So can Jordan Love take care of the football? I think it's going to be a little bit more underneath. Yeah, he's going to give you a couple, right? I mean, he's going to give you 3 or 4 down the field. But if we're getting a pass attempt line, up a lot higher than we usually see with him, right? Usually they're pretty efficient, and, you see these numbers where they're going to be chucking a little bit. He's at 33.5, right? And I think I would take the over on that as well. So sign me up. I think the completion is a good spot here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're pretty much on the same page. A lot of the similar guys you mentioned, I did too. Like outside of Jacobs, I think Kraft, Reed, these short yardage guys. It does to me kind of look like Dobbs is going to play. His line isn't posted anywhere yet, so maybe the sports books disagree, but that would obviously be a welcome addition back. But like you mentioned, there's really no team that can fill the holes better than the Packers. Wicks can obviously just step on in. He's been very good in a full-time role this season, despite the fact that he still hasn't figured out how to catch a football yet. It is pretty impressive to be a wide receiver with so little hands. Like the guy, I mean, he's got Quinn Johnston syndrome over there. He's not really, but he separates so well. That's the frustrating part of, like, he's open all the time. Even the guy behind him, though, like a Bo Melton, has also been good when he's been called upon as well. So it's one of those teams that you really do trust the depth. There's so many different guys that can get involved. Even like a backup like Emmanuel Wilson, I bet he gets a catch or two. Like, I think it's going to be a all hands on deck kind of effort. And I think no better way to take advantage of that than just going to the quarterback. So I like the Love look. I definitely agree. I think even though the Lions do play a lot of man coverage, they are used to teams going deep on them. The way they've played the Packers recently, I agree. I think it's going to be a lot of just make Love take the quick pass, make him, dump the ball down and kind of go from there. And I think that's really good for this bet, obviously.
Yeah, and I like how you went to Jacobs and you didn't try and, pick a Watson or pick pick one of these guys where there's like 4 of them, right? Yeah. Outside of Jaden Reed, there's 4 wide receiver 2, A, B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? Like, your guess is as good as mine on which one's going to have the day, right? Even on good matchups for tight ends, it's sometimes Reed. Even on the good matchup for X receivers, it's going to be, tight ends, right? It's just like he's unpredictable, man. And that's what makes this offense fun. It also makes it tough to bet. It's a really tough team to bet. So that's why I think I only really bet on Jordan Love and Jacobs pretty much this year outside of Jaden Reed a couple times when this line was getting ridiculous. So let's take a look at the chat here, guys. Let's take a look. Coop brought it up right away. Love to see that. Yeah. He had it right away. We have hey, shout out Tyrone, bro. Bring out my boy. Great Osabor, bro, from Utah State. He was my guy through the tournament. He was I played way too many great Osabor lines there. Hey, that's how you know. You know you're a guy if you know your Mon Green shit. I used to see him every week. He used to have a thing at Lambeau. I used to meet all the Packer players when I was a kid, go there. So thoughts on this one, Stu? We got 83.5 rushing plus receiving. Is that worth a look for you?
I answered it when I went over the thing. I think, yeah, but I'm playing them separately is the way I'm going about it. But if PK Reader's out, then, yeah, I would play it together. But, yeah.
Perfect. What you think, Stu?
I wish you could play 24 each, honestly. Like 25 is such a whatever.
Yeah, they only go by fives because even when I do race twos, that sucks, bro. Like I want 24. I've almost lost twice on that shit where they get to 24 and just sit there, or they get to 17 and just sit there, and then I'm like, oh god, now I need a 2-point conversion on this shit, dude. Like,
yeah, it's not an accident. They do that on purpose. So yeah, I like it. It's just like, what's 20 plus? Can you get even money on 20 plus, or are they not going to give you that? They'd probably be way worse. Yeah.
Minus.
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the look at all, but it's not something I normally bet, to be completely honest. So I don't mind it.
Let me I'll take a peek here. Minus
-160 for 20 plus.
Damn, that sucks. That's a big difference. That's a crazy difference.
Yeah. It's so much easier to get to, though. I don't mind that as like a parlay piece, honestly.
No, for sure. For sure. Let's go through, recap these. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in there. A few minutes left, and we'll talk some long shots. I don't know if everything's up because I know they don't have Dobbs up there, so I haven't seen many like long shot Packer props on many of these, but we'll do what we can here. So take it away.
Sounds good. I've got Josh Jacobs over 15.5 receiving yards. Like I said, very good about it at 17.5. If it gets higher than that, then I'd go to like receptions probably or longest reception. But anything at like 17, 18, is very reasonable.
Beautiful. I'm on Jordan Love over 21.5 completions at -105. So you got a long shot you've been looking at, or even if it's not up yet, if there's a spot maybe you're looking to see.
Yeah, no, there's one I already locked in and I bet immediately. The price is coming down a little bit. Jaden Reed, 80-plus receiving yards. It's plus 330 on DraftKings. It's the best price in market. I mean, it's pretty freaking simple. Like, in their 3 losses this season, Jaden Reed averages over 100 yards. He's gone 5 for 113, 7 for 139, and 4 for 138. They've only lost 3 times. Those have been his game logs in those 3 losses. It's pretty clear what happens. Jaden Reed plays the slot. They don't use him much more outside of the slot, and they don't play these 3 wide receiver packages as much when they're ahead. When they're ahead, they're running the ball more, a little bit more 12 personnel. You're seeing maybe some of the better blocking wide receivers out there. He's just not running that many routes. But when they lose, or when they're in trailing or in passing heavy game scripts, okay, that's when we bring out the 3 wide receiver sets. That's when we attack vertically a little bit more. And that's where Reed really shines. I mean, this is a frustrating guy because he's like 10th in overall fantasy points right now, but he's only averaging like 25 yards per game over his last 3. But if you look at it, once again, mostly beating the crap out of teams in those games. So for me, it's like I want more Reed usage every game. I think he should be playing 80% of snaps, not 60% of snaps. I think you need to find ways to get him involved more. But the games where he is super involved are the games where they're trailing or they're forced to throw. And I think that's what's going to be the case here. So give me Jaden Reed, 80 receiving yards, plus 330. I see a lot of upside. Could be good for like leading receiver in the game kind of bets. Like definitely. And I even parlayed him and Jamison Williams 80 each because they're like the same price. They're kind of the same guy. I think that's a fun little long shot as well.
Nice. I think that I'm doing one of those ones I know Stu don't like. The ones where they give you the combos and specials.
Oh no. Is it every quarter or whatever?
No, I'm not going to quarter. I'm not degenerating that. I am not going down that path, Stu. But I am going to take let me type this up. It is plus, let me see, the best line on market's going to be on FanDuel at plus 450. I'm going to take Goff and Love to combine for 600 passing yards in this game. Just looking at these numbers already, they're giving Goff pretty high respect at 249. They're giving me Love at 247, right? So I just think there's too many like explosive players here that I don't think that you're good. Like the Packers just can't let the run beat them, right? You have to make Jared Goff beat you, right? That's really what it's got to come down to, right? Is we've seen it in that first game, right? Goff threw 20 times and they lost, right? Make Goff beat you. I know he's better in the dome. I think he's going to have a nice day through the air. I don't want to go head to head in passing yards, right? They're both minus 115, but like you said, Reed, we got Watson on that side who can make big plays down the field, especially Wicks makes those long intermediate routes, make something happen after the catch. Ball Melton, you brought it up already. And then you look on the other side, right? If the Packers let the Lions run on them, it's done, right? It's just done. And Hafley's got to know that shit, bro. Like it's that easy. Make Goff beat you, and if they have to have him beat you, I think Goff's going to be pushing 275, even 3. Right. And I think that Love could all get to 350. Right. But if I'm betting on that, right, I'd rather have both options. I think both guys could easily get 300 plus here. So I don't want to pick one pushing up to 300. I'm going to take both. I think one of them is going to have a pop off game. Your guess which one's going to be. So I think this spot in a dome in December, big game, put it on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're right. I do normally hate these combination ones just because I see a 600 and for me, my mind goes like, no, just no. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those high numbers where the way I build long shots is I like to hate on everything and find one thing that I hate a little bit less. And you start to build a path up a little bit. And like, I just hate 600. Like, no matter who it is, you give me peak Tom Brady, peak Mahomes, 600. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But I do appreciate that these are positively correlated, right? Yeah. If we are in a game where Love starts to pop off, it's not like one of these guys, because the biggest concern is one guy goes for 350 and one guy goes for 150 and you're fucked when you could have just correctly picked the guy that's going to go for 350. That's my logic, right? But that's almost impossible in a game like this. Like for it to be so one-sided, like both teams, if it's that kind of game script, are going to pop off. So I do respect like that I like this a lot more than your average like combination prop because just they're both correlated with each other. Well, like if you combine two running backs to go for 200 yards, it's not. If one guy's taking 10-minute drives and going for 100 yards, that's going to hurt the other guy that you're parlaying him with. While these guys, quickly scoring only helps each other. So I do like the correlation here. I'll probably have to toss a couple bucks just because whenever I hit on a play to it, it normally goes off. That's how it works around here.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, if this gets to a game like they're expecting, right? They're expecting it like that. 3-point spread, 52 total, bro. Like, you're expecting this to go back and forth, right? And just the amount of trick plays and shit like that, it's just they find a way. What's going to piss me off is it's going to go to 575. I'm going to have to watch Amon-Ra throw a 25-yard touchdown and be just absolutely fucking irate and lose. If that happens, I'm going to go to Detroit myself and go find them, motherfucker. Ben Johnson's going to pull some shit like that.
Oh, you're so right.
You know that's going to happen, bro. I'm going to lose my 20 yards. And it's so don't even let Penny Sewell throw a fucking pass, for God's sake. Like, goddamn. So as long as we don't lose on a trick play that somebody else passes the ball, this shit's locked up. Let's go.
I didn't even think about that. You're so right, though. There's going to be a Jamison Williams end-around drop back for like 50 yards that you're just sweating like crazy. The whole world is hoping they catch it, and you're sitting over there like, please drop this.
Drop that shit. Because guess what? Goff catches that. Don't help me shit. That don't help me at all if Goff catches it. So, all right. I think we're good. No NBA for this show. I think we're good. I think we got plenty of stuff to talk about with it being one of our teams, obviously, on here. Usually, even when we got Washington games, it takes a little bit longer because, we got a little bit more to talk about. So anything else from you, Stu? Obviously, coming off of 5 straight winners here on the show, back-to-back sweeps. Anything you got for the people?
Yeah, no, not much. I say Mitch said Xavier McGinney interception sounds fun. I like that. I mean, the train keeps rolling. Why not? The guy's been like unstoppable this season. And honestly, with a weakness at defensive player of the year still kind of up in the air, a primetime pick against the Lions, maybe a pick six. I mean, you get yourself right back in that conversation as well. So the guy is searching for picks. It's clear as day. So I like that look, a little bit of a defensive prop. I'm always a sucker for if you've watched the show for long enough. I used to give out like Diggs interception in primetime games for long shots. So definitely on board with that. And I saw someone earlier in the chat say, group trip to the Sphere? I saw they just put the Grateful Dead tickets up too. I saw that. If we could coordinate like a UFC weekend or something like that would be fun. Man. So I don't know. Definitely in on that. Would be a good time. Just wanted to appreciate Flan Fam's always in here. Wanted to circle back to that at the beginning. But yeah, been a heater on Pass the Prop recently. A lot of good plays, a lot of good winners. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going. If you want more action from me, you can follow over on Twitter at Monotone Football. I'm even rocking my props.cash hoodie today. So if you want to send me free hoodies, that's where you can find me as well. I don't know if anyone's got free hoodies, but I'll definitely take them. So that's really all I got today. Very excited for these games. I think we got some good picks.
Yeah, Friday should be regularly scheduled programming time. Obviously, wasn't expecting this either, so obviously we'll try our best to keep it on pace. Looking at McKinney right now, he's 17-1 defensive player of the year. So,
not gonna win,
but you got to see minus 220 on JJ Watt or TJ Watt. So that's obviously going to do there. But you saw Myles Garrett jump like a lot from that last game, right? He went from like not even in the picture to second at plus 850. But yeah, I mean, how do you put anybody ahead of McKinney in the secondary, right? I mean, they have Patrick Surtain at the same price. Surtain, Chris Jones, same price as McKinney. And I think McKinney is leading in interceptions right now. I know he's got like 7 or 8 in like 8 games. It was crazy. Started the year with 6 straight, so no one really talks about it. So hopefully he continues it, and hopefully he can put on a show here in a big spot. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Still 30 of you guys in here. If you could hit that like button, we really appreciate it. Drop a comment, favorite bet from the game. We obviously appreciate all your guys' feedback. It helps us out a lot. So thank you guys, and best of luck on your bets tonight and obviously for Thursday Night Football. So have a good one, guys. Catch you Friday.